Hello, citizens of the planet. Welcome back to Monday Musings with Larry Lelli. And this week's musing is about something that happened to me recently at a concert that I was playing. And the musing is don't freak out. Don't freak out, that's right. So here's what happened. So we're playing this concert. It's a really important concert. It's sold out, huge concert hall. It's a very exposed performance. There are only a few of us on stage. It wasn't something with a big orchestra or a ton of singers or anything. It were just a few of us on stage. So everybody was very exposed on this big stage. And we didn't get a ton of rehearsal before the gig, which is fine, and that happens sometimes. We just, on this particular song, we just got to, run through it once at the sound check, and that was fine, and we all had our sheet music, and we were going to just play it that night. So, unfortunately, because of the short prep time that we had, there wasn't a ton of time for me to, make adjustments to the sheet music like I usually would. I had my sheet music up on the music stand, and because it was kind of so last minute, they had one of the songs had all these page turns, and sometimes I had to go back in the music because we were repeating sections, and it just wasn't laid out like a drum chart normally would be. There were tons of page turns and forward and back and forward and back. Very unusual. So anyway, so we're playing the concert. I've got the music up there. I'm desperately trying to the road, just find a place and stay along with the music with all these page turns. And one time so I thought I was done with that piece of music, and I flipped, oh no, what happened is I was done with this particular piece of music, so I flipped the page, but it hadn't been connected to the next page. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. And so by me turning it like that, it just went like this and kept on floating and flew right off the music stand onto the stage, really far away from me. And I needed that piece of music because there was a point where we were gonna have to go back again to that earlier piece of music. And so it could have been a complete disaster because I had no idea really what was on there. I did not know that music very well. I was needing the music to kind of follow along and know where I was and know the road map of the chart. And so what I did was, don't freak out. I didn't freak out. I could have freaked out. I could have stopped playing and tried to grab the music as it was falling off the stand, or or someone else could have gone and picked it up and given it to me or whatever, but there just wasn't time, and it just didn't make any sense. And we were halfway through the song anyway, and I was like, okay, well, let's just see if I can remember how this goes off the top of my head. And I played the rest of the song from memory. Luckily, I remembered how it ended, which is always the most important thing, because you never want to still be playing when the rest of the band has ended. So I could remember the ending was kind of weird, and it kind of stuck out in my head. I remembered kind of how it went in sound check. And so luckily I just played the rest of the song and ended it with everybody else, and nobody noticed anything, except I'm sure the audience saw at one point my music went flying off the stand. But I didn't make a big deal about it. I was like, oh, well, whatever. I don't need that anyway. I'm just going to play the song, and then we're over. So that's kind of my musing for today, is things that could end up being a disaster don't have to be a disaster when you don't freak out. Okay? All right, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next week.